Good evening, Zimbabwe. This is Change Radio News. Today is Tuesday, 28 October 2025. The news is read by Divine Nambira. Here are the news headlines. Power outage disrupts Mnangagwa'S State of the Nation address. Sapes Trust bombing a threat to democracy and civic voice. And 2 children die while 14 are critically ill from food poisoning in Mashava. And now for the news in detail. Emmerson Mnangagwa was briefly plunged into darkness during his State of the Nation address at the new Parliament building this afternoon. The unexpected power outage disrupted proceedings for several minutes, and he had to continue reading his speech using a torchlight. Speaker of Parliament Jacob Mudenda later apologized, calling the incident sabotage and vowing to chase the culprit. It remains unclear whether the blackout was due to load shedding or a technical fault. Citizens who spoke to Change Radio said the incident reflects government complacency and mirrors the long power cuts many Zimbabweans continue to endure. Today, the Zimbabwe Republic Police cordoned off the Sapes Trust building in Harare after it was bombed overnight. The attack happened just hours before a scheduled press conference by opposition leaders and civil society groups opposing attempts to extend Emmerson Mnangagwa's term beyond constitutional limits. The assailants reportedly threw petrol bombs into the building around midnight and abducted the night guard on duty. They also locked the main gate, delaying emergency responders, and the seminar room where the press conference was to be held was completely destroyed. Opposition leader Tendai Biti condemned the attack, calling it an assault on democratic freedoms and saying it was a non-partisan, non-political initiative aimed at defending the constitution. Jacob Ngarivume added, "We have united as opposition forces against the 2030 agenda. The bombing will not deter us from speaking against it." Let's listen to the conveners as they speak.
Thank you very much, members of the press. To my brother here, Professor Ibomandaza, we are so sorry for what happened, but this won't be a deterrent in terms of our agenda as the people of Zimbabwe. We are united against the 2030 nonsense. We are not at all going to accept it. And this is a statement. The reason why the regime is panicking is because now, even as democratic forces, we have found each other. We are coalescing and we are brought together by a common purpose to oppose the mutilation of our constitution. And that is not going to change. So we stay in touch with you all, and we are so determined to move forward so that we stop this nonsense. So thank you so much, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
Over to you. The right police officers are now approaching here, demonstrating that the dictatorship is in panic. So Zimbabweans, don't panic. Very soon we are going to announce the next course of action. After this, we have heard that they've done the same in Bulawayo, but don't panic. The next way forward is going to come. Over to you, Mkomat David.
Yeah, just to say that thank you for everyone who came. Very sorry to Dr. Mandaza in the arson. Very sorry to Gilbert Mbrende in the arson that took place at his house. This is a new process, a united process of concerned citizens against the mutilation of our constitution, against the vandalization of our constitution. It's a non-partisan, non-political effort to defend the constitution. So we are uniting everyone to move forward to defend the constitution, the constitutionalism, the values of the liberation struggle, and the values of our own democratic struggle with people like the great Morgan Tsvangirai and the great Tupson Sibanda. So we will tell you in due course.
In Bulawayo, another press conference on Zimbabwe's constitutional crisis has been postponed indefinitely following suspected attacks on critics of President Emmerson Mnangagwa's proposed term extension. The Constitutional Crossroads meeting, scheduled for this morning at the Bulawayo Club, was called off amid a heavy police presence. 2 children have died and 14 others are critically ill after eating sadza and drinking Mahere at a traditional ritual ceremony in Mashava, Masvingo, on 27 October 2025. Zimbabwe Republic Police ZRP spokesperson Commissioner Paul Nyati said the families suddenly fell ill after the gathering. The children who died were aged 3 and 7. 4 children and 7 adults are currently in critical condition at Masvingo General Hospital, while 3 others are being treated at Mashava Clinic. Commissioner Nyati confirmed that investigations are ongoing and more details will be released in due course. A Harare magistrate has denied bail to 10 elderly citizens accused of attempting to join a protest allegedly organized by fugitive war veteran Blessed Geza. The group, aged between 48 and 75, is accused of mobilizing for an unsanctioned 1 million men march against President Emmerson Mnangagwa's term extension. Magistrate Caroline Kuhudzai ruled that the accused were likely to regroup and re-offend if released, saying they were also flight risks given the gravity of their charges. Police say the group was arrested in central Harare while singing a protest song and has been charged with participating in a gathering with intent to promote public violence. Advocate Fadzai Mahere has criticized the culture of politicians gifting cars and houses, saying professionals should not depend on handouts to succeed. Posting on X, Mahere said Zimbabwe should be a country where hard-working artists and civil servants can afford their own cars and homes without relying on politicians or tenderpreneurs. Her remarks come after comedian Comic Elder reportedly received a car worth over $100,000, while civil servants like doctors and soldiers were recently promised bonuses of just $75. Prominent government critic Malcolm Masarera, popularly known as Traore, was arrested in Harare on Friday after being allegedly trapped with $100,000. Masarera, who has been campaigning online for Vice President Constantino Chiwenga's presidential bid, faces charges of inciting violence and attempting to undermine a constitutional government. Sources say he was caught in a sting operation involving a close associate, Lovemore Thompson, though Thompson has denied any involvement. Masarera's arrest follows his recent allegations linking senior ZANU PF officials to drug trafficking. He is being held at Harare Central Police Station, and the arrest has sparked concern among his supporters. ZANU PF is moving to recall underperforming MPs loyal to Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, citing poor performance and obstruction of President Mnangagwa'S development agenda. The party says 17 legislators have been flagged, but analysts warn the move could be a cover for sidelining opponents ahead of the 2030 agenda. An outbreak of hand, foot and mouth disease in Zimbabwe has raised concern among parents as health officials say doctors are still working to confirm the diagnosis. In economic news, the Zimbabwean government announced on Monday that Nigerian billionaire Aliko Dangote will visit the country in mid-November to roll out a $1 billion investment in cement, coal, and power generation projects. U.S. economist Professor Steve Hanke has ranked the Zimbabwe gold ZiG currency as the 6th worst performing in the world. The ranking comes as Zimbabwe transitions towards a monocurrency system, aiming to make the ZiG its sole legal tender by 2030. Bakers in Zimbabwe warn that bread prices could exceed $1 due to rising flour costs, though they remain hopeful the increase can be avoided. Zimbabwe has launched a project to slash mercury use in gold mining and rehabilitate tens of thousands of hectares of land. The 5-year initiative, backed by the UN and the Global Environment Facility, aims to protect miners' health and promote mercury-free techniques for small-scale miners. And in news from local communities, the Zimbabwe Republic Police are looking for Blessed Gwinya, Loyal Mpofu, Wuzu Moyo, and Munashe Mukore in connection with the murder of 47-year-old Nelson Silemba in Fandawana village, Gokwe, on 25 October. Police say the suspects ambushed Silemba with machetes, axes, and knives in a revenge attack over a previous court case and the loss of 2 cattle. Anyone with information is urged to report to the nearest police station. In international news, Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara has secured a 4th term in a landslide victory. Provisional results show the 83-year-old incumbent won almost 90% of the vote. The election was characterized by a historically low turnout after his main rivals boycotted the poll. His closest competitors, former Commerce Minister Jean-Louis Billon and former First Lady Simone Gbagbo, conceded after receiving just 3 and 2.4% of the vote respectively. Protests continue in Douala after President Paul Biya was declared winner of Cameroon's presidential election, securing an 8th term at the age of 92. Armed forces have been deployed as residents block roads, set fires, and clash with security forces. Opposition candidate Issa Chiroma Bakari has rejected the results. And finally, in sports news, Dynamo's coach Kelvin Kaindu has hailed Captain Emmanuel Jalai as Zimbabwe's best right-back after their Chibuku Super Cup semi-final win over Highlanders. Jalai scored the opener before the match went to a penalty shootout, which Dynamos won 5-3. Kalindu praised Jalai's leadership and said the victory boosts confidence as the team fights relegation with just 3 league games left. Dynamos sits 16th with 34 points and needs 2 wins to secure survival. To end the news bulletin, here are the headlines once again. Power outage disrupts Mnangagwa'S State of the Nation address. Sapes Trust bombing a threat to democracy and civic voice. And 2 children die, while 14 are critically ill from food poisoning in Mashava. And that concludes our bulletin for today. We thank you for listening. From myself, Divine Nambira, and the entire team at Change Radio, we wish you a blessed night.